We are doing part two of conflict resolution, and we're going to do a quick review about what we talked about during part one, which is understanding that conflict is everywhere. There is no relationship that doesn't have it. There's no situation that you're going to be in where you won't have conflict at some point. So the biggest thing that we want you to take away from this is that you need to learn how to resolve that and solve that conflict in healthy ways. And again, there's 5 different ways that you're going to be able to solve a conflict, and it's either through competing, avoiding, accommodating, compromising, or collaborating. And we're going to define and really dig deep into each of those 5 ways we resolve conflict during today's lesson. And the other thing that we really want you to understand is, what do you value in your relationships, or what do you value in regards to your issues? And obviously, the best thing that we want you to take away from this is that you should be valuing both your relationships and the issues that both people have. Because again, we are not actually resolving conflict if both people aren't coming up with a great solution. So I'm going to get my face out of the way here, and we are going to continue talking about conflict. So when we are discussing conflict, we're going to start with watching this quick video. And really what we want you to take away is go back a few days and remember what we talked about with the messages that we get from other people and the messages that we get from society and teen culture and everything. And what this video really does that I appreciate about it is that it really talks about how we can really mix up some messages, and what is actually true isn't what we're interpreting. So we're actually seeing things that we feel are true, but they're actually false. So as we're watching this, really make sure that you have that takeaway, is if how we interpret messages from people can create conflict that doesn't actually exist. Review what we talked about in part one is understanding that conflict is absolutely everywhere. It cannot be avoided. Secondly, we need to learn productive ways to handle conflict. And again, to appreciate and handle a conflict the right way is both people are getting what they need and getting what they want. And it is the best situation for everybody. Now, also understanding this is the part that a lot of us get stuck on is that conflict resolution is actually listening to people and hearing what they have to say, but also being able to talk about what our issues are. So many times we ask someone what's wrong and they say nothing and they turn around and they walk away. Well, that is a true avoider. And we're not really dealing with the issues that we have, but also making sure we're listening when someone is talking to us about their issues and not dismissing it or not just thinking we're right all the time. The next thing is understanding between top 20s and bottom 80s. And again, if you remember, top 20s really are thinking about heart-to-heart conversations and making sure they're understanding the other person, where bottom 80s always think that they have to go toe-to-toe, which means that you're ready to fight, you're ready to battle with the person that you're having conflict with. Again, we talked about 4 different types of conflict. One of them was intrapersonal, and that's when we are having a conflict within our own mind. We are having a hard time making a decision on something. That is an example of intrapersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict is when there's conflict between 2 people. So if me and one of my children are having a conflict with each other, that is an interpersonal conflict. Then we have intra-group, where if you think of a team that you've competed on in the past, or if you think of a class and there's just battling going on within that team, okay, or that group or that class, it's really going to have an issue having a gelling type of team. And then finally, we have intergroup, where 2 different groups are battling. And if you think about any type of rivalry, EC versus Roadrunner, of the Vikings versus the Packers, Wisconsin versus Minnesota, those are considered inter-group conflicts, where you're always just going to have that conflict no matter what's happening between those people. And then finally, we went over the 5 styles of conflict management, which you are going to see the animals lining up on the right. We have the competitors, which are the sharks. We have the avoiders, which are the turtles. The accommodators, which are the teddy bears. The compromisers, which are the foxes. And then finally, the collaborators, which are the owls. And we'll dig a little bit deeper into each of those as we move through this lesson. So to go through the 5 conflict management styles, there's a couple things we want you to understand before we dig a little deeper into it, is that one style isn't always better than another. There's just different situations where they're best to use certain ones. Also understanding that each style has its pros and cons, and that's really what we went over yesterday, is understanding why some move us along faster and why some take a little bit longer and why some are expected in certain types of relationships, and it depends on the situation. Finally, we have be aware of your gut reaction, but also other styles that you can use to best resolve a conflict in a certain situation. So what we do is true to us. We want to be true to our personality. We want to make sure that what we're interpreting is in fact true and not false. But at the same time, sometimes there's a better way to react to certain situations. And then this last one says, depending on the people involved and the situation that causes that conflict, you are going to have to dig deep and try to maybe use a style that we're not necessarily used to. So first, let's dig into the turtle, which is our avoiders. Turtles will say to themselves, well, I just don't like confrontation. Turtles will say, I will avoid confrontation and not care about our relationships or my goals because I'd rather not talk about it or I'd rather not deal with it. Also, turtles say that it's easier for me to withdraw from a conflict than to actually face it and deal with it. And finally, what turtles will say to themselves is sometimes this causes me to lose relationships or goals. And sometimes they're okay with that because, again, that conflict is so uncomfortable for them. Second, we have the computers. Now, I'm sure, like you could with the avoiders, you can really identify the people that are in your life that are these types of people. But the computers, I feel like you'll be able to identify very quickly who is a computer in your life. And a lot of times they are the adult figures that are in our lives. So computers will say, I want my goals reached more than I care about my relationships. They'll say, I care more about my goals than being liked by others. And computers will also say, I'll force people to see that my solution to the problem is the best way. And it's simply by just having authority over them or overpowering them. And again, these computers are considered sharks. Then we have the teddy bears, which are the accommodators. Now, accommodators, we say that, well, I'm just a people pleaser. I don't want people mad at me. So we tend to answer with, well, okay, fine, for everything that we're asked. And or we say, it's okay. It's okay. We'll do what you want to do. Accommodators also value their relationships way more than their own goals. Accommodators will also say, I will sacrifice what I want in order to keep people happy. And that goes back into that people pleaser part. And then finally, teddy bears will say, I want to be liked by others and avoid conflict because I think it's going to hurt our relationship. So they'd rather that relationship stay together rather than resolving conflict that they may be having with somebody. Next, we have the compromisers, which are, our foxes. Now we have the fox here because they're a little bit more cunning and they tend to be able to find ways to get through things, where compromisers, they're kind of concerned about their goals, but also kind of concerned about their relationships. Foxes will say, I will give up part of my goals and persuade the other person to give up part of their goals. That's why we have the fox here, because they are a little bit more conniving and able to manipulate that way. And then the third thing with foxes is that we both gain something, but we also both sacrifice something that we want. And then we have the wise owl. The wise owl is the collaborator, where they are saying our goals and our relationship are the most important to me. I will improve our relationship by getting rid of the tension between us. And we will have a discussion that identifies the problem. And we're also going to come up with a solution that's going to satisfy both of us completely. Now, again, that collaboration does take a long time and it does have to get into the point where both people are really talking about their problems. And this is one that does take a tight relationship to be successful. So how you handle conflict in an intense situation will really show us what you value. So we have this table here that will show you what each type of conflict management style deals with. So we'll start with the avoider. So when we talk about valuing the relationship, you really want to make sure that you and the person that you're in a relationship with are still good at the end of the conflict. And then the second part of this, when we value the conflict or the issue, really what this is talking about is what I need actually getting resolved. Or am I pushing off my needs, or am I pushing off the needs of somebody else? So with the avoider, they do not value the person that they're in a relationship with because they're okay if they'd rather not deal with the situation. Okay, so which also tells us that they don't value the conflict or the issue that they have. So avoiders, we really want you to really think about ways that you can confront the conflict in a healthy way, in a way that works for you. Now, accommodators, we're all about the relationship in this one. We are making sure that everyone is all good, but we also will sacrifice our own needs. So if you look, it does not value the conflict or the issue that I'm having. A computer. So when we are a computer, what we really have to understand is that we don't value the relationship at all, because all I'm concerned about is my issue and my conflict. Okay? I want to make sure what I'm getting is solved solely by me. It's because I said so type of stuff. When we are a compromiser, again, we kind of give or take on the relationship. We are okay if someone gets mad at us as long as we both get a little bit of what we want. And also with that conflict and that issue, it's the same thing. We're kind of getting what we want, and so is the other person, but not really, because we're both having to cough some stuff up that we might not want to. And then finally, with the collaboration. With collaboration, both people are getting what they want. So both people are going to want to continue that relationship. And also, both of our conflicts or issues are going to be resolved by whatever solution that we come up with. Now, all five of these are best used in certain situations. So if we talk about an avoider, if I'm getting into a conflict, let's say if I'm getting into a conflict with my parent when I'm a high school kid, and I just know that if I go into that room, it is going to be a battle, it's going to be a fight, I'm going to avoid it altogether because it's really nothing's going to come out of it. It's not going to be a healthy resolve. Okay, so that might be a time that I would be an avoider. An accommodator, it's going to be the same type of situation where I go into a battle, okay, and even if it's a student of mine and I'm a teacher, and this kid is just pushing my buttons and they're going after me and they're trying to make a big show out of themselves in class, okay, I might just say, you know what, fine, today you can sit there. I'm not going to battle you for it. Just go ahead and sit wherever you want. I'm okay with it because then the kid can sit back and be like, I got what I want, but at the same time, I'm not making a big spectacle of that kid or myself in front of the rest of the class. A computer. This where might be where as a teacher or as an adult or even you as a peer to peer, you know it's the right thing and that decision needs to be made right now. So if you think about it, if you and a friend want to go to a party and you know that